Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another part of my F1 Manager 22 career modes here with Alfa Romeo for the US GP. If you guys did miss the previous episode, the first episode after the new patch, then be sure to go check that one out, because that was potentially the most berserk race we've ever had on the game so far, and it was straight after that new patch. I don't know what went on with Valtteri Bottas. He had one of his Hungarian GP bowling moments. Ironically, actually, at Hungary in-game, he had a few spins in this series, and he went on to take out 2 Red Bull cars. He took out both Red Bulls. He got a 100% hit rate on both Verstappen and Perez, both their rear wings off, both into the barriers at the hairpin. It was a bit mad, and through all of that, we even made a strategic mistake and still came through for a race win for Pierre Gasly once again at Suzuka this time. From, at some point, he was 16th, I think, when we made that, incorrect decision to go on to intermediates when we should have maybe just jumped onto wets. But it came through, and we were able to play our way through and get him up into P1. But, the patch, at least for me, I've been seeing a few mixed, reviews potentially of the patch here and there. But for me, I think it worked pretty well. You saw the AI playing, a bit more, with a bit more of a brain switched on. I think, the fact that they switched on to full wet straight away was quite a smart decision. Yes, they made a few weird moves then later in the race, but overall, just ended up being a really, really enjoyable hour of playing that game. So, yeah, so far for me, liking the new patch, but that was in wet conditions. I really hope this USA GP, in a way, is going to be dry, so we can finally see what the tyre wear levels are going to be like for the soft, medium, and hards, and how that's going to actually play out properly with the new improvements. But, ironically, we have a development point token for Bottas. Now, I don't know what is going to stop him crashing, potentially. Control. I think that's what we need. Causing lock-up, spins, crashes, or running wide. Let's go +1 on control, because I feel like Bottas has been a bit reckless, as of late, to Hungary, to Japan. So I think that's a necessary step for him. But we're moving on through the calendar to the US GP. Of course, at the moment, if you haven't been clued up, we can't actually design anything new at the moment because we have 2 research projects on the go. In terms of manufacturing, we don't really need anything new made, maybe spares of things, but you can see we've got quite a good selection of parts. So to be fair, actually, front wing is maybe one thing we need, because Bottas broke one of his front wings, so actually that's going to be quite useful. So let's make, I would say, 2 more front wings, because Bottas just keeps going through them. Bottas has cost us 400k in the last episode, I think it was, plus whatever the chassis damage would have cost. So yeah, quite a hefty price to pay for Bottas, but it is what it is. Now the thing with our cars is the gearbox for Gasly is a bit worn, and then for Bottas, it's going to get quite worn. We're going to have to take another gearbox, so that might mean another penalty. Ahead of practice, I'm going to have to do it, because we've got engine, little bit worn out, 68. That's potentially going to be another penalty at some point, but I'd rather not do a double whammy. So let's go for a gearbox, a new one for both Bottas and Gasly, because yeah, they're all pretty darn worn. Simming the session of FP1. Let's see how we go. Okay, looks like we're in good company for grid penalties. Both Ferraris, Red Bulls are taking penalties. Haas as well, both Haas cars and AlphaTauri. Actually, you know what? Change of game plan. We are taking all the penalties we could possibly want this race if you've got these 4 taking pens. I know MERC aren't, but we've got a cushion to Mercedes now because of that win, because of Singapore, the back-to-back victories that Gasly's got. We can afford to go to the back of the grid, and with these guys also joining us at least a little bit further down the order, that will maybe make life a little easier, because maybe the slower cars ahead of them hold them up. I just think generally it seems like this is a good weekend to do so. And Joe has crashed in FB2. Progress going well for us. 73% setup confidence with Gasly. Bottas 60. So again, Pierre taking a bit quicker to get up there, but Joe with a hefty impact with a big lockup and life not going so well for him at AlphaTauri ever since we transferred him out and got Gasly in. And of course, things going very well. My decision to bring Pierre in has been probably one of the best decisions we've made of the whole series so far. Right, set up to 91 with Gasly, only 68 with Bottas, which is, I find it weird because I was able to easily get him quite quickly, Bottas, up the order. The only thing I can think of is having that engineer switch. Technically now Bottas has a better engineer than he did before, but the affiliation is not there, and it seems affiliation maybe is such a big factor. So it has been a bit of a struggle since we made that switch for him in practice sessions. But he gets there eventually. He gets there eventually. It just takes till FP3. But so at the end of that, we did some very low running, you know, in terms of hard tyres. I was saving fuel to just not wear out the parts even more as well. And also, because we're going to be at the back, doesn't really matter what we do in this practice session as long as they get up that setup confidence, basically. And to be honest, I may not even bother running in qualifying, just because there may not be any point. We'll do Q1 maybe, and then we'll leave it there. Perez has crashed an FP3 virtual safety car out, so not a great day in the office for Red Bull. Not what they want after a double DNF because of one of our drivers. Not what they wanted there for Perez. That may hamper his progress over the whole weekend, and it's a very similar crash to the one Joe had. Right, end of FP3, we're behind the Mercedes cars, but I know that we are, well, both drivers were using the worn gearbox still because we didn't install it for this practice session. No point of extra wearing it out on the Friday and on FP3. So we know there's probably more pace in the tank, and it's going to be a very mixed up race. There is, I do accept, a risk that MERC, with plenty of clean air, could run away with it a little bit, but surely Red Bull and Ferrari will catch them, slow them up, and then give us a chance also to catch up as well. Just depends on, I don't know how USA is going to be in terms of, like, you know, when we did this at Spa, it was very difficult to overtake from the back. I guess we'll see. Different AI behavior. Maybe it'll be easier to race people. You know, slower cars, maybe not putting up much of a fight, or, you know, we're just able to use DRS better. I don't know. It's a step into the unknown, because last episode, even though it was the first race after the patch, as I said, with the rain, just didn't allow us to fully see the true picture of how the tyres and everything's going to play out. So this will be our first chance. Quali, I'm going to install the new parts that we need to. New engine, gearbox, etc. I think we'll see how Q1 goes, we'll sim it, and then we'll just leave it there. So installing the new gearbox onto Bottas. I'm also going to take another engine, because these are all quite worn, and we may as well. And the same for Gasly. New engine, going to install that onto car 2, and then install his new gearbox. So that leaves us with a very good looking car, actually. ERS a bit worn, but that's because we've used it in previous sessions. So simulating Q1, let's see how this goes, just to see the kind of general pace of the car. It seems pretty good. Gasly P5 ahead of Hamilton. Bottas P8 ahead of Russell. Alonso in the mixer, but both drivers beating respective Mercedes cars. The pace is still there, but now the penalties come and the race. So we're starting in 9th and 10th, which is interesting because I don't know how we've actually managed to do that. I simulated to the race, which means I didn't skip the sessions, but I just didn't bother to do quali myself because there's no point going for a high enough position. But I think just generally because there were so many people with penalties that we've been pushed up the order because they've perhaps got penalties that have put them behind us, if that makes sense. You know, kind of almost like in real life, like a Monza, where they do that calculation of, okay, you do the first set of penalties of people in Q1 who got knocked out in Q1 and Q2. That pushes people up the order. Then you slot in, and then others do. So sometimes you can have a penalty that puts you 10 places back, but you actually start only 8 places back. Something like that. I don't know. Either way, this is actually a massive win then, because we've got these new car parts, and 9th and 10th isn't even that bad. Strategy-wise, looks like it's going to be a 2-stop, which is great. I love a 2-stop. I hate 1-stoppers. This is good. This gives us a bit of playroom. Because Bottas, for all his mistakes last episode, we know he is good at, pre-patch, he was always good at protecting his tyres. So could we do a 1-stop with him and try and get track position. And then when Gasly, knowing that he generally is a bit, well, because we pushed him harder in most races, he wears out his tyres quicker. Let's keep him on a 2-stop. But is a 1-stop even possible with Bottas? I'm going to try it. I want to risk it. I want to really test out this patch, this race. Yes, we're trying to do well, but also for the sake of science of seeing how this patch goes, I want to test out this 1-stop, because it seems like it's going to be very fine in terms of tyre wear and pace at the end of the stints. But let's see how it goes. And then with Gasly, we'll go with a bog standard 2-stop medium, 2 sets of mediums and a hard, avoiding the soft compound because it only barely lasted 12 laps, so really not worth it. And we do have 2 new sets of mediums, 1 and 2, so that should be fine. We're going to actually swap this round and somehow try and get this, yeah, there we go, medium and then hard. So we're going to go 16 laps on the end of the medium compound attire. Maybe even actually, we could probably go with 18 actually, because it's the end, lower fuel. So 15 for the first set, because I reckon they'll wear out quicker. Hards, and then get onto the mediums. Maybe even go earlier if we feel like the pace is dropping and isn't quite what we want. It's a big stab into the unknown. This is our first proper full dry race after the latest patch. This could go either horribly wrong with Bottas or okay. And then with Gasly, let's just see how much micromanagement you have to do of the pushing of the tyres and the fuel compared to the AI.
It's sunny and bright as the drivers line up on the grid. And there we have Pierre Gasly. They might not be in the top 3 spots, but things could change fast once the race gets underway. And there's Bottas completing the team today. Not as close to the front as they might have wished for, but we know the race order can change a lot during those first few corners. Will their hard work pay off today? Here we go. It's the United States Grand Prix. It's lights out.
Right, lights out and away we go. It's a 1-2 for the Mercedes guys. Bottas, bit slow off the line. Gasly gets him up into P9, into turn 1. Let's go right on board Bottas, because they're going to get very close together. Gasly squeezed out by Valtteri. They're going to be side by side down the hill. The Ferrari of Sainz P8, Leclerc P6. The Red Bulls, they're the ones at the back of the grid, because they're down in 19th and 20th as Sainz is struggling to keep Bottas at bay. And Bottas is going to try and slip by down the inside. Leclerc runs wide in P6. And Alonso in a lofty P3 in the Alpine car. So already, actually, there's only one Ferrari to get. And then there's cars that we can definitely attack and race. Sainz gets us back, though, on the inside. Can we try and keep ahead? Let's go overtake mode for both cars and see if we can get them behind. I think we should be all good. Aston Martin versus Magnussen. Those Red Bull guys, they're going to get stuck so much. Right, I'm going to have to go light conservative for Bottas. He does get Sainz, but I can already tell 95% tyre wear on those mediums off the bat. That's 5% in like 1 lap. I know Hamilton's 97. A couple of people have chosen softs. Russell, Alonso, Ocon. So curious to see how those tyres fall away, because those are 74 already. So already the tyre wear difference is making a big mark on this race. But yeah, we have to go conserve with Bottas because he is going long on that 1-stop. But we can obviously use the DRS off the McLaren to try and stick with. And also in clean air, we can save this fuel that we're burning right now. So let's go overtake mode and try and get the McLaren. And I'll keep on neutral for now with Gasly just to stick with the Ferrari. Right, I'm going overtake mode and aggressive with Gasly. Going to go overtake mode with Bottas because he's got the McLaren ahead. So hopefully that'll draw him in and keep us away from the Ferrari. And looks like Gasly may be a bit closer to the Ferrari than Bottas is to the McLaren. Can he go for it? Let's go attack. Please try and get him maybe with the overtake down the inside. No. Is he going to pull out for the move? Sainz goes defensive. No. Okay. Standard. The McLaren's definitely holding us up a little bit. Ricciardo, 6/10 to Leclerc. So there's a bit of space there. And I reckon we can get Sainz, if we just go... Let's go to the end of the lap and then go deploy. Right, overtake mode with Gasly. Attack. And let's get him. Bottas also attacking ahead. Let's see. Is Bottas? No. Ricciardo's actually closing to Leclerc. Gasly nowhere close yet to making a move. Oh, bit of traffic there with the Alpine. Right, this is actually quite tough. We're getting kind of stuck here a little bit. Right, I'm going to go deploy. And Bottas is making a move. Bottas is making a move on the outside of the McLaren. Overtake mode working well for him. He's going to have DRS surely now as well. DRS rear flap should open. There you go. And he's going to pull through and go for the overtake. Gasly may also go for the overtake. I'm going to go overtake mode, in fact, to try and get that done. The McLaren goes defensive. Bottas with a big send round the outside to get Ricciardo, I hope, and then Gasly at the same time. They're in unison, making that move on the inside of their respective cars, and hopefully they get by. Gasly, oh, the Ferrari's come back at him, and the McLaren comes back. It's actually a really good scrap. And out ahead, like I said, the Mercedes cars have a chance of pulling away 2.6 the gap to Fernando Alonso. So the Mercs are in control of this race, but there's still so long to go. Right, Bottas got overtake mode. He's going to try and get maybe Leclerc. I don't know. He's lost the back end a little bit. And Gasly now is falling foul of the Ferrari, but is gaining with the DRS. Right, let's go harvest. Right, Gasly with deploy mode. And he's gaining a lot here. DRS open, up ahead, Bottas passes the second McLaren, passes Lando Norris. Can Bottas get past Ricciardo? Come on, mate, you can do this, Gasly. Yes, good stuff. And now Bottas, he's still fighting the McLaren. To be honest, at some point, ideally, Gasly overtakes them all and gets ahead of Valtteri, because Bottas, he doesn't need to be ahead because we're going to get track position eventually. And to be honest, with Conserve, he probably will just fall behind because we're pushing a bit harder with Gasly. But we get Ricciardo done. Can we get the McLaren? Going to go harvest for this next section. Just try and save a bit. And then overtake mode. I mean, they don't really harvest that much in the last corner anyway. So going to go harvest into the first turn. Right, so Bottas has made amazing progress. He's up into P5. And this is on conserved tyres. Is conserved tyre the way to go about this? I don't know, because he's going for a move. It's 3 wide of Ferrari versus Alfa Romeo versus Alpine. Meanwhile, Gasly trying to get, well, he has got the other McLaren and will try and get Ocon as well. But Bottas has got Alonso and is having a go now at Leclerc. Gasly up to P6. Good progress from both our drivers, but interesting. Bottas has slightly higher rating, making the same sort of progress, if not better progress, than Gasly, conserving his tyres. This is very odd. He's going to get attacked now, though, because he's going to have no ERS here and no DRS. We're going to harvest with Gasly into turn 1. Will Leclerc will not make a move. Gasly harvests and is now going to be in a good position to get the Alpine and Ferrari surely on this next lap. Right, here we go. Going overtake mode. Going to go attack and get him. Bottas in clean air now, so we can't really skimp out on the fuel too much. And he is going to get overtaken. We're harvesting this entire time. We're not really in the race with Ferrari just yet, but we are going to hold back Leclerc, sorry. Gasly, can he make a move? No, he hasn't actually made a move that time. Right, Leclerc's getting Bottas up the road. Can Gasly get past the Alpine? Both of us with DRS. That's frustrating. Gonna have to go harvest now because we've used a lot of ERS and we're stuck behind Alonso. And Bottas now is the one ahead. The Ferrari's got ahead. Ferrari in clean air now to close down that 4.7 gap. Right, I'm going defensive ERS with Bottas. Gonna go attack with Gasly. Come on, mate. We need to get him. We need to get him now. Down this straight. Here we go. Gaining. He's got DRS, so that's the only annoying thing off Bottas. Can he make a move, though, into any of these corners? Ooh, got a bit close there. Did get quite close, but no. Nothing comes of it. Still stuck behind. Actually, you know what, Bottas? We need to just go neutral and push a little bit. Just to push away and break the DRS of the Alpine, and that's how we're going to get it. Oh, inside of the last corner. Okay, Gasly. Just do it before you even get DRS, and now we have DRS to just pull away. Beautiful stuff. Good job. Harvest turn 1, and then we get going. Oh, sector 1. Who's crashed? Oh, no. Okay. No, there's yellow flags, but that's Gasly overtaking Alonso there. That's not... Well, this is how it happened. He just dived down the inside. Really good last-minute move to get up the order. But what's the yellow flag for? We've paused it. Progress update. Verstappen P16 behind this massive train. Perez P12, to be fair. The man who crashed at FP3. Further ahead up the order. Sainz P10. So he's been stuck. Leclerc and ourselves. We're the only cars with these penalties that have got through the traffic. And Leclerc 2.5. The Mercs are very catchable. Very catchable. So now at this stage in clean air. Now that Bottas in clean air. Gasly is behind Bottas. because we're doing a 1-stop with Valtteri and we're doing a 2-stop with Gasly, I'm going to swap them round because there is no point Bottas holding Gasly up. In fact, Gasly needs to actually get a whole pit stop on Bottas effectively. Obviously, we don't know what the tyre wear levels are going to be like for Valtteri. Going to put him on light. That's the whole point of us testing this out after the patch 1.08 to see what that tyre wear level is like, if you can actually genuinely do a 1-stop versus the 2. So we're going to try and swap them round as easily as possible. And then we will see how Gasly progresses, keeping up with Leclerc ahead in P3. Right, Bottas lets Gasly by. That's calm. Now we can just take the... Well, I'll keep that on, actually, just in case he actually has a go at him behind. But now it's about just staying calm. We've got 1 second to Alonso behind us, so that's calm. We'll have 1.5 to Gasly. So now for Bottas's race, we're literally just going light, trying to save the tyres as much as we can, and just kind of leaving him to his own devices and letting him do his own thing. With Gasly, we're trying to close up the 1.6. What's the tyre wear levels like? 58% to 72. So you can see the tyre wear is it's so much more aggressive than it was before the patch. So now I may not have a chance to close up to Leclerc, because in the past, before the patch, I would have been able to push and close this up. But now I actually have to conserve tyres even with Gasly, just to go as long as Leclerc and Russell in this race, or Hamilton in this race, if you see what I mean. Because they're on the medium, they're probably going to do a 2-stop. The same for Russell as well, although he's on a soft compound, so all the soft tyre runners, they'll be in big trouble within about 2 laps, I'd say, because they're going to have to come in off those softs. Like I saw in FP2, the softs only go a max of like 12 laps. So like 15 laps, they're so worn out. So they're not going to go any longer than that. So Leclerc's making good progress. He just got past Russell, but to be fair, Russell is on 32% worn soft tyres, so you can't really blame him. To be fair, he might be susceptible to us now as we close in, and the pit stop window is opening for Gasly. So actually, it's coming up a lot quicker than I pictured, to be fair. So maybe we can push a bit more with Gasly to get Russell at least. Right, Russell's in. Russell's in for his pit stop, so I'm going to stop pushing with Gasly now. We were actually going to close up to him, though. I think we were within 1 second just about when he peeled into the pit. So now we've got pretty much every medium tyre run, apart from Ocon, is now, you know, everyone who's on softs is pit. So this is now the true fight of trying to stick with everyone in terms of pace and tyre wear. Right, our optimal pit stop window has opened up with Gasly, so we are pushing, attack on the tyres, pushing on fuel, deploying with ERS, and I think I'll come in now a bit earlier and try and call the AI's bluff, because our lap times, we're about 7/10 slower than Leclerc and Hamilton, so we're not really gaining. The gap's grown to 4.8. In Valtteri's world, done a pretty damn good job. To say he's on conserve right now, to be 3.2 behind Gasly, is very good. 4.5 ahead of Sainz, who's only just cleared all the traffic. And then Perez and Verstappen are in a checkerboard of McLaren and Red Bull. So now they're going to be a threat soon come in this race. But Hamilton is in, and we're going to come in with him. Don't know if Leclerc's going to come in, but it looks like we've gauged this pit stop window correctly. But unlike them, we're going on to hard tyres. So Gasly comes in. Leclerc stays out. Leclerc stayed out. Interesting. Right, Bottas is now going to get up into P2 then, effectively. And we'll get P1 eventually in terms of track position, as a load of people behind pit. So Bottas, once he gets Leclerc, probably in this next lap, he will be in the lead. And it's just about trying to see if this one stop's going to work out for him. With Gasly, we've committed to the 2-stop, but an alternative one. We're on hards, whereas the others are on mediums. So this is a chance to push maybe a bit harder, lean on the tyre, because it's a more durable compound, and see if we can keep up with them, basically, and then hope that we get paid dividends at the end of the race, being on mediums, whilst they're on hards. Right, Leclerc's in, and Bottas are flying Finn. The man who had a disaster class last episode, crashed the 2 Red Bulls out. He leads the way now in clean air. So, look, there's no cars for him to crash into this time. There's no Red Bull in sight yet. So, hopefully he can just keep his cool, calm, finish head in place, and he can just go on. You know, he needs to become the tyre whisperer right now, because he's going a long way. I don't even know what our pit window was. Our pit window, well, it apparently opens in 3 laps, but I think the actual optimal time we're pitting is still a considerable distance away. Right, Gasly sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, attacking with these hards. Magnussen's pits are now up the road is Hamilton. 2.1 the gap, but he's in a fight with Leclerc and Ricciardo holding them up. Is Ricciardo pit yet? Ricardo's also trying a one-stop maybe. So Ricciardo's actually doing us a favor here, holding these guys up. So this is the perfect time to close up and then stick with them with DRS. And there we are. We are with Hamilton. So now we can go standard, balance fuel, and just stay with them in DRS. That's going to help us pull us along. So we're here. We've caught up to the Mercedes car. One of them that was in the front row whilst we had the engine penalties pushing us down to 9th and 10th. So now finally on lap 19, I've told Bottas to go to standard in terms of his pace commands because we got 43% tyre wear. That's pretty good. I think we did a better job than Ricciardo at keeping these mediums in check. So now we can push a little bit just to not let Russell steamroll up to the back of him basically in the background. And then we'll see. We'll probably hold up the cars a bit. Inadvertently maybe help Gasly, but then also, you know, we need to watch out because if we do that too much, we'll hinder Bottas's race too much. So I think once Russell closes up and that pack closes up, we'll hold them up for one lap if we can, then we'll pit him in onto the hards and go to the end. And we've harvested a lot of good ERS with Gasly now. He's now got 59% and he's still well within 1 second of Hamilton. 1.7 to Leclerc though, so the Ferrari's kind of walked away a bit. But that's fine. Our fight is with one of the Mercs, not really with the Ferrari to be fair. So maybe we could even get Hamilton this lap if we push enough. Let's try and get him. Let's try and get him if we can. Deploying. We're within 1 second. Hamilton's not got DRS off Leclerc, I don't think. So this could be a slam dunk overtake, actually. As Leclerc maybe goes for a pass on Russell, we're going to fly by Lewis Hamilton and get up into P4 with Gasly. Good stuff. I'll continue to push on tyres. Fuel-wise, I'll keep it unbalanced. Actually, I might even go conserve actually here a little bit.
You're doing a very good job.
And then Bottas is there. And Russell is just about now going to close up. Right, Hamilton's got DRS back on Gasly, but we just about got DRS off the Ferrari fight. And that might be switching positions because Leclerc, is he going to make a move? No. Gasly actually set the fast lap of the Grand Prix on that lap that he overtook Hamilton. And now we're all bunching up. We're all within one literal camera shot in Sector 1. And the gap is still 1.2 to Bottas. So Bottas doing well not to just let that 2 second erode instantly. So he's actually quietly, I'm quite happy with it. I don't know where he's going to filter out. That'll be a big factor in how his race goes, but he's doing very well so far. Right, we're right up the back of Leclerc. Going to go overtake mode, see if we can try and overtake the Ferrari. Maybe, if he gets caught up behind the Merc. Is Leclerc going to go for a move up the road? Let's ride on board with him. Leclerc. Russell goes defensive to the inside. Can the Ferrari get around the outside? No, the Merc parks it pretty well, but Gasly comes out of nowhere. Oh, Pierre Gasly. What a move, son. What a move. Round the outside now with the Ferrari. Come on. Gasly on the inside now through the next left-hander. Gets the elbows out and might just get this done on the Ferrari. You've got no ERS, though, so that's going to be quite an annoying thing. But he's still going round the outside to the inside for the next corner. Come on, this has been an absolute ding-dong battle between the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari. Bottas, meanwhile, has been closed up by the Merc. This may be the nail in the coffin. Russell overtakes him and Leclerc. Now's the time to come in with Bottas now. Gasly defending Hamilton. I'm going to go overtake mode because we're right on the back of the Ferrari. This is a very, very close fight. Hamilton gets through. Bottas might come through deploying, but he's going to pit this lap. Gasly, closes DRS. That's gonna be a bit annoying. Bottas comes through again. That's not really what we needed, but this is quite a lovely battle as Bottas gets very close to Hamilton's rear end. Right, we're going to pull Valtteri out of this and come onto the hards. Leclerc just overtook the two Mercedes cars. It was 3 wide. And Leclerc is into the lead this race. So the status quo is resumed. The Ferrari leads. Like I said, the Mercs, they may have started 1-2 because of the penalties, but sooner rather than later, the overwhelming pace is there of the Ferrari. Now it's up to us. Can we go and attack those 2 Mercedes cars? 1.5 the gap. What's the tyre wear saying? 64 to their 72. A 60 for Russell. Not bad on the hard compound, to be fair. Right, sit rep on lap 27. Leclerc still leads the 2 Mercs, and unfortunately, those three have DRS trained each other so well. The gap has grown to 6.5. Verstappen and Sainz are now closed up to us. Remember, though, we are on a harder compound. But the thing is, we're also having to save fuel. And that's, after the patch, well, actually, just as was before the patch, difficult to do when you're in clean air. Easy as hell to do when you're fighting cars and you're with them underneath their rear wing. So Gasly's kind of fallen away into the clutches of Verstappen and Sainz, which is a bit frustrating, but we can't really do too much about that. All we can do, well, as Verstappen sends one down the inside, is try and re-overtake Verstappen maybe and stick with him. Meanwhile, Bottas is closing up to overtake Tsunoda for P8, and remember, he's on a tyre he's going to the end of the race for, so he will get some track position. Whether it's enough to challenge for a podium, I don't know, but up into P8, clean air now to push away. Prix is going to get us, though. Overcast a bit. Is there any rain on the way? Is there rain on the way? No, no rain on the way. Just a bit overcast in this phase of the GPs. We get to about halfway now through the race. Sainz unable to close up whilst we use deploy to stay ahead. And we harvest actually quite a decent amount there. But Verstappen really bolted away. Is he on, what tyre is he on? He's on mediums, but he's going rapid. He overtook us and then got 2 seconds on us in half a lap. Right, so Gasly's P1 now, but yet to pit off these hard tyres. The rest have pit onto hard. So we should have a pace advantage like them lot did. But the damage may have already been done because they were so quick on those mediums. And we've had to save this fuel. That's been so difficult. It's taken like 10 laps just to get it from minus 0.3 to minus 0.1. And Leclerc now is within 1 second. So the race leader is already coming. Well, the effective race leader, once we get overtaken or pit, is looking to overtake us before we've even made that second pit stop. Meanwhile, Bottas P3 doing very well. That's him legitimately here in P3. Gasly, is he going to get overtaken here? Leclerc with DRS doesn't make the move. Bottas with the fastest lap of the GP as we start to push him a little bit to stay ahead of the MERC, hold them up and maybe close up to us. Is this going to be the nail in the coffin? Tyre wear warning for Gasly as we're reaching the end of this stint. Leclerc's coming through with DRS. We have nothing to defend him with. And the same, unfortunately, for Bottas as well as Hamilton gets through with DRS. But can we just stick with the MERC? Stay in his DRS, save fuel, and then come back at him. Gasly actually remained in first place, though, so he actually defended quite well whilst Bottas did get overtaken. Could we go on for one more lap? No, I don't think we should. We should probably pit in this lap. Let's just pit in this lap. Medium tyre. Yep, coming in. Right, Gasly's in. He's going to fall down the order, probably. Oof. It's gonna be a bit painful, you know, here with Gasly. The 2-stop actually proving a bit painful. P7 with all the work to do. 12 seconds to bridge to the guys ahead, just ahead of Perez. That's going to be a tough one. Meanwhile, Bottas, he's in DRS range and he's sticking with Hamilton. Right, lap 39, Leclerc and Hamilton having a scrap for first place. Bottas is in the middle awkwardly. Verstappen has arrived on the scene, so it could be Hamilton versus Leclerc versus Verstappen. And then we're just kind of awkwardly there with this one stop trying to stick in this DRS train. And so far it's working pretty well, to be fair, as Bottas now finally gets in a good fuel level so we can go back to balance. Meanwhile, with Gasly, I wanted Perez to get ahead of us to train us with DRS up to Sainz, but that's not worked. So instead, I'm just going to push him and try and close up, basically. 11.7 seconds. Sector 3, there's yellow flags. What's that for? Nothing. No safety car or anything like that. And Bottas may just get overtaken by the Red Bull here. Latifi runs wide. That's why the yellow flags were out. No surprise there, to be fair. But Verstappen is by, so we're down to P4. But can we now just stick with these guys? I would happily take a top 4 finish with Bottas here on the 1-stop. It's been a frustrating 2-stop day for Gasly. Looks like maybe if you can try a 1-stop versus AI's 2 stops, it's the way to go potentially. Yellow flags, crash on circuit. Is it a... Ooh, Latifi's crashed. Okay. He went wide and now he's crashed. Is it going to be the same sort of way that Perez and Joe crashed earlier on the weekend? Yes, it will be. Massive lock-up and into the wall, but no safety car. Doesn't look like it. No, nothing. Not even a virtual. It's all fine. Right, lap 44. We're 8 seconds now behind the next car. Perez, though, is annoyingly stuck with us and now goes for an overtake. But then he doesn't want to pull away and help us with DRS, so he's just being a bit of a nuisance. Meanwhile, Valtteri now has fallen away out of DRS of that top 3 fight, unfortunately. Hamilton's sticking with them. P4 would still be pretty good in what has been a race where obviously we took the penalties and MERC had an open goal, and they're P3 and 4. It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, lap 45. Things are getting harder for us. The Mercedes cars have closed up. Russell goes to the move on the inside. So like I said before Japan last episode, that race was a little bit covered up with how harder maybe this patch has made things because of that rain, the crazy wet race we had, and we still went on to win that race with Gasly. This one, you're seeing the AI are so much better now with the tyre wear levels attacking you. Obviously, like I said, we've got the cushion in the Constructors' Championship. You know, we can basically go to the end like this and we'll still finish ahead of Mercedes and Constructors. So that's fine. That's calm. And obviously, we know we're building a better car for Season 2 in this series. But the remaining races are going to be a bit more of a challenge. Even getting creative with Bottas as one stop, proving difficult. I mean, P5, maybe P6 at the worst if Sainz gets us. It's still better than Gasly, at least, with the, 1v2 stop. So I don't know. I don't know what's ended up actually being better. Because maybe in hindsight, we should have swapped them earlier and allowed Gasly to race in DRS with the guys further up the order. And Verstappen now leads the US GP. There may not be any fighting going on for ourselves with Bottas and Gasly, but Verstappen with the fast lap of the Grand Prix just gets into the lead with 8 laps to go. Leclerc P2, Hamilton still actually managed to stick on the back of him, which I'm very surprised at and impressed by. And meanwhile, that one stop, 25% tyre wear, you can see, is starting to look a little grim for Bottas, as Gasly may even close up. And Perez has got Gasly. Perez has even got Bottas, such as the tyre levels we're both facing. So, yeah, this is a crash down to reality from us after having a back-to-back win from Singapore to Japan with Pierre Gasly. The patches come in, and the tyre wear levels now mean the AI have a bit of an edge on us at the end of these stints. Verstappen and Leclerc still having an absolute scrap and a half. They've been swapping for the last 4 laps here, so we'll see how this ends for them. For us, well, we've got a 35-second cushion to Alonso. So to be fair, we could actually pit in maybe and just go for the fastest lap of the GP, because I think we'll still come out ahead of Alonso. So earlier we made Bottas let Gasly by. Now we're going to make Gasly let Bottas by, because we pit Bottas for the soft compounder tyre to try and get the fastest lap. Gasly's tyres, even on a 2-stop, have gone off the cliff here. So we're just getting to the end of this race. We've got enough of a gap to Alonso where he will get to the end and finish in P8. Bottas will get up into P7, and we're saving the tyres for a glory run on the last lap to just nick 1 more point fast lap of the GP. Meanwhile, at the sharp end, you can see the fight is still on between Verstappen, Leclerc, and Hamilton has just been sitting there with a bucket of popcorn, maybe waiting for the right opportunity. I don't know, like, what are the tyre well levels like? I mean, Hamilton has more tyre wear than both of them, so really I don't think he's going to be able to make a move. It's all about Leclerc versus Verstappen at the end of the race. And oh, what the? That 54, the safety car's out. Is it going to end under safety car? I reckon the race will probably end under safety car. Surely it ends under safety car. It's got to. It's got to. We've had a crash on track. Surely, lap 54, Tsunoda's out. There's no way this race is going to be restarted. And that's annoying, because I was saving the tyres with Bottas to get the fastest lap on the last lap, and now I can't even do that. And actually, ironically now, Bottas did not overtake Gasly. So if it ends like this, even with 15% tyre wear, Gasly's going to finish ahead of Bottas, P7 and 8. We won't get the fastest lap, and Verstappen, well, his bacon will be saved by the safety car, as he may just win this race under the safety car against Leclerc. That's going to be an insane way to bounce back after a DNF at the Japanese Grand Prix. Okay, there we go. The safety car is going to bring us across the line, because it says safety car ending this lap literally as we're going to cross the line for the last lap of the Grand Prix. So that is it. That's how the race is going to end. So tough old race for us. A lot of learning and homework to do maybe in terms of how the new tyre level works versus the AI. P78, still not horrendous. You know, if you're Alfa Romeo, you'd be happy with that. I mean, MERC get a podium, 3-4. They'll gain a load of points on us, but we've got that cushion to help us out. And it's a big response from Max Verstappen to win this race Maybe by the end of it. I mean, they're literally going to cross the line. And yeah, it's going to end like that. Can Bottas get Gasly on the line? No, he can't. It will end like that. It will end 7 and 8. And Verstappen bounces back from a DNF with getting a win. Fair play, fair play. But yeah, for us, P7 and 8. Yeah, things just got a bit tougher potentially in the world of F1 Manager 22 with this new arrangement with the tyre wear levels. So in the end of it, Mercedes get 27, we scored 10, so they gain 17 points on us. We're still with a pretty decent margin of 365 to their 292. If they continue to have races like this to the end of the season, it would get a little bit close. So we are going to have to hope that we are able to learn a bit about this new way of the race going on if it's fully dry to hopefully outscore them for at least maybe one of these 3 remaining races. But we should be pretty fine because of the work we've done ahead of time. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, well, Verstappen gained 26, Leclerc's 18. Mathematically, it's still there for Verstappen to chase after Leclerc. Even Sainz there with 291 to 293 with Verstappen. So, mathematically, the championship fight's still on. But Leclerc's just been so bloody consistent this entire season in this save that I would be surprised if he doesn't go on to win the championship. But obviously, we're going to have to see with only 3 rounds to go now of this first ever season of F1 Manager 22. And the research for our brand new rear wing for 2023, Season 2, has been completed. And on that note, we're going to end it off today, guys. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.